Nairobi Lit Fest has quickly become on the international literary stage, celebrating free expression and cultural exchange.
Kenya wanatule ndio first body na wanaongea language gani? Wanaongea Shen. Wanaongea language yenye mimi na wewe tuna understand.
Alliance Française featured Swahili film Yoni.
Hatuwezi kumruhusu mtu mwingine yeyote amiliki teknolojia hii. Hivyo basi, nenda katekeleze.
Bound by pain, Fatima keeps coming back to hear Maria's tale of the T-junction where she found love and loss in
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Move
to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1. We are the full package.
Oh yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Join me on a journey as we unlock the secrets of a healthier and vibrant you. We'll also share real-life stories of courage and resilience. Plus, we provide practical health tips for living a healthy lifestyle, no matter what challenges you may face.
Livestock insurance compensates farmers against loss or death of their livestock such as cows, sheep, goats or poultry arising from diseases, accidents, drought, epidemic, theft, fire, lightning, windstorm and flood. Compensates farmers for loss or destruction of their crops like wheat, barley, sugarcane, maize and rice in case of unexpected events such as excessive rainfall, hailstone damage, windstorms, frost damage, uncontrollable diseases, drought or fire that can affect crop yield. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Authority, IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate ili token mita yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Well, it's Monday, the 8th of July 2024. From wherever you're watching us, welcome to Prime Edition, coming to you live from Broadcasting House here in Nairobi, Kenya. Tonight, we can report authoritatively that there is no scheme to increase taxes. That's according to the Land Ministry, setting the record straight there. Medical interns also vowing to camp outside the ministry headquarters. All that coming up. Thank you once again for joining us. My name is Tom Boyer, and our sign language interpreter tonight is Anne Wangeshi. Speak to us on all our social medias. Tell us what your thoughts are on the stories we have covered for you. Our handle at KBC Channel 1. Let me swing and open this live broadcast with our lead story. And Lands Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome has dismissed claims there is a scheme by government to increase land taxes by charging freehold land to leasehold, while rolling out the Ardhi Sasa digital platform in Murang'a County that will see Murang'a landowners access land services online. Wahome said digitization of the title deeds is the solution that include double allocation. A total of 387,000 title deeds of all land pieces in Murang'a have been digitized. That report opens our coverage tonight.
Murang'a County on Monday became the second county after Nairobi to enjoy land.
Kama ako satisfied, ata approve.
This after Cabinet Secretary of Lands Alice Wahome rolled out the Ardhi Sasa digital platform that saw a total of 387,000 title deeds belonging to Murang'a County residents digitized.
The launch of Ardhi Sasa will strengthen the security of land tenure here in Murang'a and elsewhere in the country, as it has been designed to remove human interference with land ownership records.
Kwa sababu security ziko provided kwa registry zetu, fake ashikwe hapo na wekwe pingu na pelekwe kotini, kwa sababu kuna evidence, tuko na evidence ya process ya kotini.
Landowners will however be required to create their accounts on the Ardhi Sasa website to access services that will range from verification of title deeds and transfer of land ownership from one party to another.
Other counties that are next in line are Isiolo, where we should be going in the next 4 weeks, Marsabit, and Mombasa. Steps are almost all done for Isiolo and Marsabit.
The CS denied there was a plan to increase land taxes, saying the speculation of changing freehold land to leasehold is illegally impractical.
What we were looking for is a levy for land within cities or urban centers. Land ambaye ni ya nyumbani, huko kwa mama, huko kwa nyanya. Our own land outside urban centers were not to be affected.
Lawmakers drawn from Murang'a County hailed the Ardhi Sasa digital platform as a game changer proud in the country.
Where these conmen and fraudsters are working from is kule kwa survey, director of survey. That's where they steal those deed plans sometimes, or they push officers to do the wrong things at the survey, then they generate titles from that point.
Titles, land is very important. Na watu wetu tukimake sure wako na title mzuri, wakitaka kuisha shamba wanauza vizuri, wakitaka kulease wanalease vizuri bila matatizo mengi, na mambo ya tupunguza mambo ya corruption, the ground will be fine.
Landowners registered on the platform will be notified by SMS and email of any transaction on their land. Give us minor Prime Edition.
Now, all clinical officers employed by county government who have been on strike are set to report to work in the next 24 hours. This follows a return to Union of Clinical Officers and the Council of Governors ending the 99-day strike by clinical officers. However, the strike call-off is partial, as the Ministry of Health has not yet met all the demands by the union. Kamche Menza reports.
100 days paralyzing operations at various health facilities across the country, a deal has finally been struck for the clinical officers to resume operations at hospitals in the counties. In a letter dated 8th July 2024, the Clinical Officers Union and the Council of Governors signed a return-to-work formula that will see their demands addressed.
We have come to an agreement, and we have with us a framework that within around 60 days we'll be able to address the issues that we raised in our strike notice. Then that's a good thing. Of signing this return to work, we are officially declaring that our strike has come to an end, and our members shall resume duty in their respective place of work starting today and not later than 24 hours from the date herein.
This has come as an opportunity, and I want to say that if I look at the issues that have divided us, there's a very thin line, because they are issues that we could agree upon. To get 100%, at least 99.9% agreement is good enough.
When beginning the strike on 1st of April 2024, stated 10 demands, including implementation of a 2017 collective bargaining agreement, provision of medical cover, absorption of universal healthcare staff, and payment of risk allowance, among others.
Kaunti zingine ziko na zaidi ya miaka 4 hadi 9 bila kupeana nyongeza kwa watu wetu za kupandisha vyeo. Basi tunafanywa na tumekubaliana mkataba kwamba kupandisha vyeo ama promotion zitafanywa kuanzia sasa na isipite mwezi wa 9 tarehe 30.
But counties are trying. Counties are trying. Even in there are counties that are still recruiting healthcare workers to try and take services to the periphery and to.
However, the strike call-off is not absolute, as Kuko says. Other demands to the national government, such as posting of interns, have not yet been met.
From the Ministry of Health and the people who should actually be showing leadership, we have seen lack of it, and we have not seen that commitment. So the strike continues on the side of the Ministry of Health, because there are issues that we have not been able to agree. We do not have a return to work agreement.
The strike clinical officers in Vihiga and Marsabit who are participating in a general strike. A total of 6,200 clinical officers are at the county government, while 200 are employed by the national government. Kamche Menza for Prime Edition.
Meanwhile, approximately 4,000 medical, pharmacy and dentist interns have vowed to camp at the Ministry of Health headquarters in Nairobi, Kenya, day and night until they're issued with placement letters. This has been occasioned by the failure to implement a return to work the 8th of May 2024, where government had promised to post them by the 7th of July this year. Sarafina Robi reports.
Monday mid-morning at Afya House, Nairobi, vuvuzelas whistles rent the air. Among the interns is Dr. Blasio Were, who has been waiting for his posting letter for 2 years now to get to practice and get his license. But this now seems like a distant dream.
Serikali ilikuwa imesema kwamba ingeweza kutupa barua kuanzia mwezi wa 4, na barua hizo zilipotoka hazikuwa zinaambatana 17.
His story mirrors that of thousands of other interns.
Sabotaging the lives of these Gen Z doctors that you're seeing out here. They don't want to be posted in batches.
We are yet to do postgraduate training. We have a shortage of specialist doctors. Kenya has less than 500 surgeons, and those surgeons should come from us.
It's not really genuine for people to violate the CBA, which is actually a legal process, and just assume that you should pay them this amount of money when we clearly see that the country has money for other things.
Promising to ensure the interns receive their posting letters by the 7th of July this year. In a return to work formula dated the 8th of May this year, it is yet to be actualized.
And it's our right to be posted within 30 days of completion of studies as per our legal CBA, which was deposited in the labor court.
As you know, the law says that if you practice medicine without license, you're liable to 3 million shillings fine and 5 years imprisonment. You see, for me to afford, therefore, I cannot practice.
The long wait has resulted in depression among some of the interns who are almost losing hope after 6 years of medical school training.
Some of us are actually, there are people that I know that are gatemen, some that are my colleague, I know who are house helps, and they are doctors, for heaven's sake.
We have been at home for 2 years now. Our knowledge is decaying and we are losing opportunities to advance our lives. The psychological suffering we endure is immense. Without this medicine, many of us are grappling with depression and suicidal ideation due to this injustice.
They have vowed to be relentless.
All interns must be posted today with payments as per the 2017 CBA between MOH and KMPDU.
Post us and pay us, pay our postgraduate doctors.
The protests continue amidst a heavy presence of anti-riot police officers, attracting a bigger crowd. The medical doctors vow to camp here day and night until they receive their placement letters, according to the CBA 2017 terms. Serafina Robi for Prime Edition from the Ministry of Health, Nairobi.
Of course, we'll be tracking that story for you. Now, let's get an update here on the county. There's a county story here where Kakamega Governor Fernandez Baraza, who also serves as the Council of Governors Finance Committee Chair, has called on the national government to expedite the release of funds for counties for the months of May, June. Why? To ensure smooth operation of the county government services. Speaking during the child health campaign dubbed Imarisha Afya ya Mama na Mtoto, the governor regretted that the delay in disbursing funds has severely affected the running of devolved units, particularly in the health sector.
All our health programs and other programs that we are doing across the county, we need to get disbursements from the national government released on time. As we speak right now, we are in arrears for the disbursements for the month of June, 30.83 billion Kenya shillings.
What does the media think about the recent protests that were witnessed across the country? The Kenya Media Sector Working Group has expressed its readiness to facilitate a genuine and transparent engagement on issues that have been raised by the Generation Z in their push for reforms. The group, while lauding the peaceful protests for coming out to reject the Finance Bill 2024 in totality, hailed government for listening to their calls. The group, however, condemned the brutal response on peaceful protests and in some cases, sadly, deaths. Here's that report.
The Gen Z-led protests for the past 2 weeks have been lauded as critical national conversations to demanded respectful and genuine attention from those in our authority. Despite the withdrawal of the Finance Bill 2024, underlying issues still remain.
From economic hardship and youth unemployment to educational challenges and the need for good governance. Bureaucratic hurdles in accessing critical public services such as ID cards, passports, and help funding, the difficult environment of doing business, among others.
The bill, the group expressed displeasure in the response by the police during the peaceful demonstrations that led to the injury of people, including members of the Fourth Estate.
We equally condemn attacks on press freedom through direct threats of shutdown to media organizations. And independent investigation must be conducted to hold those responsible accountable.
The group further pledged to provide accurate, balanced and responsible reportage that reflects the diverse perspective within the society, even as it announced plans to host a transparent engagement on topical issues raised by the Gen Zs.
Open dialogue is essential for finding solutions, and the media will play a crucial role in fostering this exchange.
Continually engage this critical segment of our society through in-depth, clear and comprehensive coverage of their vision for Kenya.
Going forward, the Kenya Media Sector Working Group says it will develop a platform where Kenyans, including the Gen Z, will engage on critical issues affecting the nation. For Prime Edition.
The Kenyan government has been ordered to pay the family of the late Pakistani television journalist Arshad Sharif 10 million shillings as compensation following his murder by police officers in 2022. Kajiado High Court Judge Stella Mutuku ruled on Monday that Sharif's murder was unconstitutional and that his rights to life and protection were violated. Also, 2 petitions have been filed before Milimani High Court seeking to stop the establishment of the president for auditing public debt, as gazetted by President William Ruto last Friday. Details of all this in the Scales of Justice segment.
While delivering the judgment, the High Court in Kajiado found that Kenya violated Arshad Sharif's right to life, dignity, freedom from and degrading treatment. Sharif's family, led by his widow Javeria Siddiq, sued the government for killing their kin, arguing that he had the right to be protected and was wrongfully killed. The court has reiterated the use of lethal force is an extreme measure and must only be used when another life is in danger. The state has, however, asked the court to suspend the ruling for at least 30 days to allow them file an appeal. And 2 petitions have been filed Monday under certificate of urgency before Milimani's High Court, seeking to quash the establishment of the Presidential Task Force for auditing the public debt as gazetted by President William Ruto on Friday. The petitioners Eunice Ngange and Dr. Magare Giki the appointment of the members and allocation of their responsibility was conducted. They argue that it usurps, undermines and duplicates the function of the Auditor General, the controller of budget, the Cabinet Secretary and the Ministry of Finance and Parliament as insurance. Elsewhere, the Shakahola massacre, where 446 bodies were exhumed from the Shakahola forest, has kicked off at Shanzu Law Court before Principal Magistrate Leah Juma. Were conducted in camera to protect the witnesses. Ruth Wamboy for Prime Edition.
In other news, environmentalists are calling for the harmonization of the cross-border environmental conservation policies and legal frameworks to enhance conservation efforts between Kenya and other countries in the Horn of Africa region. Speaking during the 9th annual Horn of Africa Regional Environment meeting that is underway in Nairobi, Kenya, the group cited the lack of sufficient financial capacity, the environmental conservation ambitions as the biggest challenge they face. Tilio Marco reports.
Environmentalists drawn from countries around the Horn of Africa region are meeting in Nairobi to deliberate on how to foster regional issues, exchange best practices, and identify opportunities for partnership and collaboration. The participants decried the lack of harmonized environmental conservation policies and legal frameworks, saying conflicting environmental regulations among different countries hamper the conservation efforts.
Environments do not really respect boundaries. You know, if you have a river that is crossing from South Sudan or to Kenya, it will cross. If you have wildlife that is using the transborder area, they will keep crossing.
One of the objectives, as I said, is also to look into policy gaps through our project activities and communicate that to policymakers as policy briefs, evidences from the ground, so that we will be able to influence changing policies in some of the countries.
They also cited the lack of sufficient financial capacity to implement their environmental conservation ambitions as one of the biggest challenges facing them.
Sometimes there are ambitions, actions in the plans, but sometimes they may not be implemented as because of this lack of capacity and also sometimes lack of information data to actually implement those activities.
Kajiado Deputy Governor Martin Moshisho called for a cross-border collaboration, especially between Kenya and Tanzania in animal disease control to avoid the spread of immunizable diseases between the two countries.
Anything that affects livestock in Tanzania affect livestock in Kenya and vice versa. And
the event runs from 7th to the 13th of this month. Tilio Marco for Prime Edition.
Well, he was a seasoned politician with a dynamic career spanning decades. He relentlessly fought against corruption. On the cabinet, we'll be telling you who we're featuring when we come back from this short break.
Unajua, token mita yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS. Weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate ili token mita yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token mita yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Join me on a journey as we unlock the secret and vibrant you. We'll also share real-life stories of courage and resilience. Plus, we provide practical health tips for living a healthy lifestyle, no matter what challenges you may face.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on tech. And downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Welcome back. Tell us what your thoughts are on those stories that we are covering for you tonight. Our socials handle at KBC Channel 1. Moving on, parents in Teso have been urged to ensure that their children access quality education. This comes as girl child advocates drawn from Migori and Homa Bay counties kicked off a campaign to enlist the support of men in the fight against early pregnancies and marriages in the regions. These and more in our county's news wrap.
Speaking at a song launch ceremony at St. Monica Chakol Girls School, the Kenya National Union of Teachers Teso Branch Secretary Geoffrey Ekasiba urged parents not to abdicate the role of paying school fees for their children to the government.
Sisi kama walimu ama wale ambao wanasimamia walimu, wakati huu walimu wakuu wanapitia changamoto kubwa sana. Kwa sababu gani? Zile hela serikali iliweza kuhimiza kusema zetu haifiki kwa shule. Kile kiwango ambacho tunapata ni kidogo sana.
Elsewhere, advocates of girl child rights in Migori and Homa Bay counties are pushing for inclusion of men in the fight against early pregnancies and marriages in the region.
The girls are saying that the boys have now come out to support them in re-entry, and even when they get pregnant and they are re-entered to school, they say the boys have taken lead through the Tuseme Club in talking to the institution on how to support the other girls who've not gotten pregnant.
Meanwhile, hotels Reserve have recorded a 95% bed occupancy in early bookings and are hopeful of reaping big during the wild-beast migration season, which runs from July to September. And residents of Kajiji Village, Mwea constituency, Kirinyaga County, have lauded Kirinyaga University for establishing a cottage industry to train them on cotton farming.
We started by training a first lot of. We do intend to continue increasing this number by working together with those who have already been trained to continue the training more and more, so that at the end of the day the impact is bigger.
Tukiangalia vijana na wamama huwa wanabaki nyuma kimapato, lakini hii project waki-embrace waweze kuishika vizuri, unapata ya kwamba maisha yao itabadilika.
Finally, Matungu member of National Assembly Peter Nabulindo has called on religious leaders chaos linked to the anti-finance bill demonstrations.
Kuna watu wana nia ya kuzamisha hii nchi. Kama mmepewa hii, mkapewa hili, nini ingine bado mnataka? Hiyo ni kutaka kuleta ghasia katika nchi yetu, nchi ambayo si tunapenda amani. Ile ambayo rais amesha kubali, wale waridhike na hiyo.
Remediation.
On to business now. The government has withdrawn a proposal to charge 7 shillings per litre of fuel as a road maintenance levy. Roads Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says that the government is exploring other ways of raising additional funding for road maintenance. Currently, motorists pay for road maintenance.
The Roads Ministry estimates it needs an urgent 37 billion shillings to repair roads affected by the recent floods. The amount is part of 157 billion shillings the government needs to repair 3 kilometers of roads that it says are in dire condition. Roads Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says the government is contemplating reorganizing tax levied on petroleum products to raise the amount needed for roads repair to cushion Kenyans from high fuel prices.
How do we increase the 7 shillings without increasing 7 shillings at the pump? How is that possible? The day we announce 7 shillings increase, how do we ensure that the people of Kenya do not receive a direct 7 shillings increase at the pump? And the people of Kenya paid us to go and think.
Proposed levies matrix will not sail through. Government will be forced to degrade some tarmac roads to Maram to make them navigable.
If the levy doesn't materialize, unfortunately, we can't toll now a road until we maintain the roads. If the levy does not materialize, we will just simply have to do the minimum. A road that was tarmac, because now we are unable to, we can grade it to become Maram. You know, it's the basic option, so that then you take it to a level where you are able to maintain.
Murkomen asked that some roads will also remain undone, as the road ministry is grappling with the 165 billion shillings in pending bills.
Ours, we don't need Panadol. This ministry needs the amount of resources equivalent to if you are treating a patient able to deal with the problem.
The government estimates that the roads maintenance deficit will increase to 315 billion shillings in the next 3 years if no measures are taken to replenish the maintenance kitty. Benson Rioba reporting for Prime Edition.
Public officers have been urged to spend within their means as government explores ways of ensuring delivery of essential public services such as fertilizer subsidy and milk stabilization program. The National Assembly Budget Committee Chairperson Didi Nyoro says to help, MPs are in the process of reducing their allowances, which will be redirected towards essential public services.
The National Assembly's Budget Committee and policymakers at the National Treasury are exploring ways of aligning public spending afford.
Na baada ya yote ambayo tutakata, tutajaribu sana kwanza sisi viongozi tujiangalie.
National Assembly Budget Committee Chairperson Ndindi Nyoro is urging public institutions to explore ways to reduce expenses so that essential public services are prioritized for the budgetary allocation.
Tukate ile pesa ambayo iko katika ama karibu na sisi. Ile iko katika kuhudumia wa Kenya ikae katika budget ndio hiyo maneno.
He says already legislators are in advanced talks to scrap or reduce some of the allowances. He says the new strategic measures are meant to ensure that Kenya's financial budget is managed responsibly amidst a public demand for fiscal prudence. This is meant to ensure that essential services such as supporting farmers, employing junior secondary school teachers, and establishing a new cooperative creameries facility to start. Elsewhere, Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga is urging counties to automate revenue collections to enhance efficiency and accountability.
Automation of the revenue and also other structures that we have put in place has seen our revenue go from about 192 million when we came in to this year we have hit over $1 billion, 1.1 billion going to 1.2 billion. And automation, but also of serious structures that we have put in place so that we're able to provide leadership for the revenue collection.
Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Now, families of the 32 Kenyans who perished in the ill-fated Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302 that crashed in March 2019 are set to receive 91.5 million shillings each after American aircraft manufacturer Boeing proposed the compensation after pleading guilty to a U.S. criminal fraud charge stemming from the two fatal crashes involving 737 MAX jetliners. The victim for a criminal trial have, however, expressed frustration about the size of the financial penalty, saying that it should have been in the billions of dollars for Boeing to take safety seriously.
American aircraft manufacturer Boeing has been in crisis over its safety record since two near-identical crashes involving the 737 MAX aircraft in 2018, where 189 people were killed, and 2019 Ethiopian Airlines crashed shortly after takeoff from Addis Ababa Airport, claiming 157 lives, among them 32 Kenyans. In 2021, U.S. federal prosecutors alleged that Boeing committed conspiracy to defraud the government by misleading regulators about a flight control system that was implicated in the crashes. However, they agreed not to prosecute if the company paid a penalty and successfully completed a 3-year period of increased monitoring and reporting. However, scrutiny on Boeing's gain this year after a panel blew off a MAX jetliner during an Alaska Airlines flight, forcing it to land, reopening the prospect of prosecution where the U.S. Department of Justice found it had violated the 2021 deal. Last week, they gave Boeing the choice of entering a guilty plea and paying a fine as part of its sentence, or facing a trial on the felony criminal charge for the U.S. over the crashes. Boeing has now avoided the spectacle of a criminal trial by opting to plead guilty and paying a fine of $243.6 million, unleashing a wave of anger among the families of the 346 people killed in the crashes who wanted the case to go to trial. This would allow Boeing to avoid full responsibility for the deaths. If the jury agrees to the plea, each victim's family will receive $704,000, which translates to 91.5 million shillings. However, lawyers have termed this as a sweetheart deal to the company and now want the judges assessing the deal to reject the plea and set the matter for public trial to establish all the facts surrounding the case in an open forum. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
Well, is government putting any effort to boost food stock? Nduta Mukame will be telling us after this short break.
Kupitia kwa Star Hash tunakupa nafasi ya kuchomoka na this brand new Mazda Demio.
Enjoy a beautiful clean semi-leather interior, low mileage, touchscreen and a reverse cam, fuel-efficient 1300cc engine, great for personal use and business.
Ukitaka kujishindia gari hili, kucheza ni rahisi sana. Chukua simu yako, bonyeza star 570 number 4, kisha unajiunga na draw. Kumbuka kucheza mara kadhaa because the more you play, the higher chances of wewe kuwa mshindi.
Gari ya pili ni yako. Ni yako.
Hii Julai, jishindie Demio na Loto Moto. Tucheze, tusaidie na tushinde.
Nairobi Lit Fest has quickly become a on the international literary stage, celebrating free expression and cultural exchange.
Kenya wanatulia ndio first body na wanaongea language gani? Wanaongea Shen. Wanaongea language yenye mimi na wewe tuna understand.
Alliance Française featured Swahili film Yoni.
Hatuwezi kumruhusu mtu mwingine yeyote amiliki teknolojia hii. Hivyo basi, nenda katekeleze.
Bound by pain, Fatima keeps coming back to hear Maria's tale of the T-junction where she found love and loss in a ragtag community.
Welcome back. Government has been putting efforts to promote agriculture in order to increase the country's food stock. 63-year-old John Masharia is one who has transformed his life through rice farming in Bura irrigation scheme, Tana River County. Our reporter, Duta Mukame, has more details.
According to the National Irrigation, the government aims to increase the current rice production of 240,000 tons per year to more than 1 million tons per year by 2030. The national rice demand is at about 1.1 million tons per year, while the current area under rice production is at 80,000 acres. John Masharia went to Bura in Tana River County for official duties as a young man aged 42 years later. He is yet to go back to his rural home in Ngarua, Laikipia County. Masharia found a gold mine in farming in Bura, which is one of the country's oldest irrigation schemes.
Ile kitu ilitupendeza ni ile masao na ukawa una demand. Kuna watu wana udimadi sana hiyo kuomboka.
In 2019 to 2020, the Kenya Agricultural Life Organization introduced Masharia to the new Komboka variety during trials of some rice varieties held in one of the villages in the scheme. Farmers were invited to assess which kind thrived most. For John and his counterpart Stephen Jaramba, the Komboka variety thrived the most in the region due to its high yield and demand.
Uhusiano wangu na Kalo ulianza wakati walianza kuniambia nikafunzwa mambo ya kupanda mchele wa Komboka, na tulifunzwa tukiwa vijiji yote sababu tulikuwa tumepandwa village 10 trial hapa Aguru na village 6
of land where he grew basmati rice variety and then expanded to Komboka rice variety, which is ready for harvest within 76 days. The venture has, however, also been riddled with challenges of water and quail birds pecking at the grain. This, coupled with the lack of adequate markets for the farmers to secure their produce in Bura and beyond, has seen the farmers opt to sell their rice to the national cereal.
Production yake ikipata maji vizuri, ipate huduma mzuri, kwa eka inakupa between 40 to 45 bags. Na tunaona ni nzuri, manake pia ijapokuwa ni challenges ya soko, mara bei iko juu, mara bei iko chini, si mbaya sana, manake tunavuna tunauzia hapa shambani.
Experts at KALRO are however urging farmers to plant the new varieties in order to meet occasional deficits that are brought about by increased demand and increased county irrigation areas.
The reason why the demand is high is because of the population increase and also urbanization. So this demand will continue to increase unless we check it by introducing high-yielding varieties and also increasing our irrigation areas.
Nduta Mokami for Prime.
Businesses are optimistic about a reduction in the cost of primary input over the next 3 months, fueled by an improvement in the supply chain and strengthening of the Kenyan shilling against foreign currency. The Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Dr. Eric Ruto says that a number of factors will converge to drive a reduction in the cost of imports, leading to cost savings for businesses.
Factors such as infrastructure, supply chain, but more so especially in terms of access to the input in terms of raw materials. Businesses are expecting that the costs will go down in Q3, and I think we really have to commend government because they've really worked on the macroeconomics in terms of inflation, in terms of the exchange rate to the dollar. We've seen that it's really come down. It was, I think, 126 last week. That is the lowest over the period of 3 months. So this is an observation that we've seen. And input raw material is going to come lower.
Now, just before I usher in Bernardo Kochokumu to give us the latest in sports, here's one more item. Now, local assemblers of the electric vehicles are calling for policies that will incentivize the uptake of local content if the industry is to reduce reliance on imported components. Electric Mobility Association of Kenya Vice President Moses Nderitu says that local components are expensive compared to imported vehicle parts, which in turn make the overall cost of the unit very expensive.
Right now, in terms of the incentives for local assembly are very good and are there. I think the biggest gap is in the amount of local components you can get for a bus like this. So with every build, we are trying to increase the local components because e-mobility is a very new field. So you don't have a lot of local stuff. So we can actually meet that 30% threshold that is required. Production is the scale. If you're only making a tens or a few hundreds, then your cost per unit is very high. But when you look at a bus like this in its source country, they're making them in the thousands, so the cost per unit is very low.
Thank you for joining us on Healthy Living. Stay connected to Voice of America at voanews.com.
A look at your kidneys and how they impact your health. And an expert discusses chronic kidney disease and how to protect yourself.
And Ivorian psychologist Noor Bakayoko shares some insights on bullying and what can be done.
It's important to avoid major events or major health crises.
Is due to a serious condition, we'll have some answers.
Stay well and strive to make every day a healthy day.
Indeed, time to get the latest from the world of sports. I'm Bernard Okumu, and we begin with the record-setting Kenyans in the world, where multiple world and Olympic champion Faith Kipyegon can't wait to defend her title in the Paris Olympic Games after breaking her own world record in the Paris Diamond League meeting, where she clocked 3 minutes 49.04 seconds as African 100 meters record holder. Ferdinand Omanyala continued his upward trajectory in the FBK Games in Angelo last night.
Faith Kipyegon returned to the scene of her 5,000 meters record-breaking feat with a sleeve in Paris. The wild 1,500 meters record holder took charge of the race from the onset, controlling the leading pack with Australia's Jess Hull behind before Kipyegon broke away to widen the gap and win a record of 3 minutes 49.04 seconds, taking off 0.07 off the previous record she set in Florence in June 2023.
Quick time. Laura Muir's rallied in third place. Kipyegon's going to be close. It's very close. It's there. She's got it. A new world record. And that was all in the last 200.
Australian Jessie, fifth fastest 1,500 meters time in history, clocking 3 minutes 50.83 seconds. Kipyegon, who is also the holder of the women's mile record, was using the Paris meet to gauge her preparedness for the Olympic Games in Paris, where she will be defending her title as one of the favorites. The world 800 meters silver medalist Emmanuel Wanyonyi set a new personal best of 1 minute 41.58 seconds in the Paris Diamond League meeting. Race a close second behind the winner Sejati Jamel of Algeria, who won the race in 1 minute 41.56 seconds. Wycliffe Kinyamal was fourth.
Inside, Wanyonyi trying to come back. I think Sejati gets it. 1:41.
Meanwhile, 100 meters African record holder Ferdinand Omanyala had a glorious weekend too in the FBK game, where he won the 100 meters race in 10.01 seconds ahead of United States' Ronnie Baker and Canada's Andre De Grace. Omanyala was competing in his first race since he clocked the season's second best of 9.79 at the national trials for the Paris Olympics at the Nile National Stadium last month.
And maybe that particular performance from Faith Kipyegon and Ferdinand Omanyala is a sign of record stumbling at the Olympics. Well, we'll wait to see when the games begin on 26th of this month. Elsewhere, the Evans team leaves the country tonight to France, Miramar City, where they will hold a 2-week training before heading to Paris ahead of the Olympic Games. Now the Paris Olympic Games scheduled July 26th to August 11th. The 13-member Shujaa team is the first batch of Team Kenya to depart for France, where they will camp for 2 weeks in the southern city of Mihamas before traveling to Paris for the Olympic Games. At the Olympics, Shujaa will play Australia, Samoa and Argentina in Group B.
I'm extremely proud of the team we are flagging off this evening. Has surmounted incredible challenges. Only a year ago, Kenya was in mourning with Shujaa falling out of the HSBC World Series, and a short year later, rising from the ashes like the phoenix, Shujaa had bounced right back to the HSBC space. So we say hurrah to this.
The national women's volleyball team, Malkia Strikers, who arrive in the country tonight from Philippines, where they participated in the Challenger Cup, will be in the second batch, departing on Wednesday, and will be followed by sprinters, judokas, and field event athletes later this week.
The whole idea for them to go and train before the Olympics is first to acclimatize, train in pretty good facilities, be in a camp where they can only focus. There are no distractions, either social or any other, in preparation for the Olympics.
Kenya will be 3 athletes who will participate in 5 disciplines, namely volleyball, rugby, swimming, fencing, and judo. And the national under-20 rugby team, the Chipu, were overpowered by Netherlands, who beat them 51-3 in their second Pool B match in the ongoing World Rugby Under-20 Trophy in Edinburgh, Scotland, to record their maiden victory. Now, the Dutch took control of the proceedings from the kickoff to open the floodgates for the scores in less than Lela's penalty into the second quarter gave Kenya their lone 3 points. Jory Smith scored 2 tries for the victors, with Ilan Varsen converting 4, including a penalty. Now, following that victory, the Netherlands, who now have 6 points, remain on course to reach the final in their first attempt, while Kenya remains winless after losing their opening match to Uruguay, who beat them. USA, whom Kenya will meet in their next match on Friday, took charge of Group B with 9 points after they beat Uruguay 32-15. Host Scotland ran over Hong Kong, China, when they scored 101 points without any reply to maintain their unbeaten run, as Japan beat Samoa 81-7 in Group A. And the stage is set for the finals of the 2023-2024 Kenya National Basketball Federation Premier League, after the thrilling semi-final playoffs were concluded over the weekend, with KPA men and women's team defense. Now, KPA Dorcas ladies team will be traveling to Nairobi to face Equity Hawks, while their men counterparts will be at home in Mombasa against Thunder. Equity Hawks beat Zetech University Sparks 61-46 in Game 5 over the weekend to win the best-of-5 series at 3-2, while KPA beat Strathmore University Swords 84-45 in Game 3 in Mombasa to whitewash them 3-0. KPA men, on the other hand, beat Strathmore Blades 7-2 the finals against Thunder, who beat Equity 3-0 in the semi-final playoffs. In Division 1, Snipers are already through to the finals after a 3-1 series win over MAB, who beat them 6-1. Now the Zetech development side host in Division 1, or rather, Snipers already through to the finals after 3-1, whom they beat 61-43, while Zetech development side beat Safe Spaces 56-49 in Sunday's match to stay on course for the finals. Then across the borders now, where continental heavyweight Spain and France will meet in the Euro 2024 semi-finals on Tuesday, with all eyes set on a sport in the final, boasting of a flawless record for so far. La Roja, that Spain, made it to the Munich by eliminating their host Germany in the quarterfinals, as Le Bleu reached the final 4 penalty shootout victory over Portugal.
Bringing together perhaps the tournament's two strongest side, the first quarterfinal of the Euro 2024 promised much and ultimately delivered, as Spain struck during extra time to claim a 2-1 win over Spain, who are aiming for a fourth Euro title, are the only team to have won all 5 matches so far, and no nations in European Championships has won 6 times in a single finals or even posted 6 wins in a row.
Mikel Moreno!
Meanwhile, France are aiming to reach a fourth European Championship decider, but only the second played away from French soil. Didier Deschamps presided in the 2016 defeat to Portugal in Paris, and the double World Cup winner is intent to doing better this time round. Having lost out to Austria for the top spot in the Group D, France were uninspired in their last 16 win over Belgium before edging out Portugal in the quarterfinal via the decisive penalties in Hamburg.
And France win! And France will play Spain in the...
Well, you're now in the know, and that's the latest from the sports desk. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Bernard Okumu.
Many thanks indeed, Bernardo Kotukumu, for that sporty update. I want to thank our sign language interpreter and also thank the Prime Edition backend team. Thank you, most importantly, for watching Prime Edition. My name is Tom Boyer. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya. We'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out. Who is the man in this one?
And the